His love was killing her. I met with a couple this week. I'd seen the woman several times because of her extreme depression that had been unresponsive to medication. She'd received a little relief in the past, but the depression had been crippling and had led to her becoming pretty much a recluse. As I heard more about her story, I found that her husband, who is a very successful, talented, good looking guy, um, frequently related to her in a way that made her feel diminished. And ironically, in the past, whenever she would start getting better, he would become anxious and um, start treating her badly. He actually treated her better when she was in a one down position, when she was depressed and incapacitated. It's baffling from one point of view because um, although you would think that a man would want a wife who is vibrant and joyful and active, there are some men who find themselves consciously or unconsciously undermining their wife's success. And I'm pretty sure in this case that it had to do with his insecurity about her strength. There are some of us that prefer to be in relationships where we feel that we are in the lead, that we have the power, that we are giving more than we're receiving. And really, to be fair and truthful, this was the case for me in my marriage for many years. I wanted to feel like I was giving more than I was getting, and I made it my aim to be available for her needs, but I didn't want to be needy. And as we drilled down into this relationship, this became quite evident with this couple. In fact, the man, who I'll call Andy, admitted that he had made a determination to hide his needs from his wife, to be self sufficient. He liked being strong, he liked being in charge, and he also liked being self protective. I know when I was younger, I would not let myself reach out to someone who I was attracted to unless I was sure they wanted me at least as much as I wanted them. I didn't mind being needed, but I did not like being needy. I felt a lot of anxiety about being needy in relationship. And so I, like our friend Andy, gravitated toward relationships where I could be the strong one. And I think every man loves to be the hero, loves to be the knight in shining armor and to rush in and rescue the damsel in distress. But we can get addicted to that romantic paradigm. And so when our partner becomes strong, we are out of a job. We don't know how be to bring our masculine energy into a relationship with a strong woman, a strong female. And so this is definitely the case with this man. He was self-sufficient. He was self-protective, did not want to show his vulnerability. And as a result, he became self-righteous. He justified the way that he was and became not only the strong one, but the right one. He became religious and really looked down on his wife for her lack of strength, for her lack of spirituality. And I see this so often. Of course, this man, for all the world, looks like the classic narcissist. And in fact, you could label him with that. Unfortunately, when you choose that label, it can come across in a way that actually limits the narcissist's ability, the person's ability to step away from that. One of the things that I asked the man, and his wife was there in the session, I said, do you love anyone more than you love your wife? And he said, no, I love her more than anybody else, including my children. And I asked him, has there been anybody that you think has invested more in your wife's life, financially, emotionally, spiritually? And once again, the answer was no. He feels like he's invested more than anyone else. And I asked him the third question, is there anyone that is as committed to your wife and her well-being as you are moving forward? And once again, the answer was no. I actually turned to her, and we'll call her Susan for lack of better name. And said, Susan, so do you believe that? Do you believe that Andy is the one, that you're the one that he loves more than anyone, and that he's invested in you more than anyone else, and he's committed to you? And she agreed, yes, those were all true. But at the same time, she was no longer willing to live with him. In fact, Susan had moved out of the house. And as soon as she did, Andy, as has happened in the past, suddenly became extremely interested in connecting with her, deeply wanted her to come home, was frantic to reconnect with her. And so, ironically, as things played out, he became more and more invested in reestablishing the relationship. But as I pointed out to him, this had happened before. This cycle had happened before, where she had moved out, he had been repentant, made all kinds of promises, and had then, once she moved back, slipped back into old ways, which is normal. We tend to go back to our defaults unless there's a powerful reason to step away from them. And so for Andy, we decided that he and I would meet and try to help him. I suggested to both him and Susan that what needed to happen at this point is that he had an opportunity to learn how to connect with his need for her and to lose his self-sufficiency, lose his self-protection, and ditch his self-righteousness, and stop trying to bully her into coming back. As I pointed out to him, him moderating for what he wanted over what she wanted is what she's experienced for the last 20 years or so of their relationship, his need always trumping hers. And again, if you use the term narcissism or self-righteousness, the person who is in that one-up position often believes that their perspective, their need, their desire trumps or overrides, supersedes the need, the desire, the agenda of the other person. And this is especially dangerous if the person believes that they are doing the right thing or doing what God wants, and then they can use God to help beat down or beat up on the person they're in relationship with. So we'll see how it plays out with this couple, but I believe that there is hope because I'm able to point out to Andy how damaging his way has been and how it has led to his wife's crippling depression and her feeling inadequate and broken because of his need to stay one up and to keep her in the one down position. Now that he's aware of it, we'll see what happens. But we hope that over the 6 months or so that they're going to stay separate, that it will give them both a chance to grow, that she would be able to grow stronger and more sturdy, be more clear about what is and what isn't okay, and that he will be able to shrink down. As Jesus said to Nicodemus, you must be born again. You got to get small if you want to grow. And so we just hope that Andy is willing to set aside what he is so heavily invested in, his facade, his strength, his energy, his physique, his appearance, his business savvy and success, because he has all of that, to be able to die to all that and live to a new possibility of vulnerable, open, caring, tender, and loving relationship. It would be a great thing. So, wish I could give you their real names, but if you say Susan and Andy, God will know who you're talking about. If you want to pray for them, pray for me, because working with a man like Andy is tough work. You have to be pretty persistent. Jesus was very tough with the Pharisees of his day, trying to break through that self-righteous veneer, that self-sufficiency and the self-protection that keeps all of us from the true life of vulnerable and gentle, loving relationship. So hope this little video has been helpful to you. If you're in a relationship with someone who is self-sufficient and self-protective and self-righteous, aka narcissist. God bless you. You may need to step away, like Susan did, in order to create a crisis that might crack the shell and allow new life to come forth. I love you.